All right. Another edition of Win Daily Sports and Athletes Corner with my guy Prince Amukamara and Mike Glennon as our special guest today. Man, thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for having me. Prince is one of my all-time favorite teammates. I hate to tell it to his face, but he was great. I love playing with Prince.
That's so funny you said that, because that was going to be one of my questions. Who was one of your favorite teammates and why? I was going to say except me, but you answered that. But
I said one of. I didn't say my favorite.
One of them. You're right. Okay, but what would you say is your favorite team or why? Like favorite team that you were at so far?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's the one interesting thing that me and Prince have in common is we're well traveled through the NFL, and now that he played for the Raiders and the Cardinals last year, and I played for Jacksonville and the Giants now. We have crossed off the same list of teams. So for me, besides Tampa, I'm sure Prince would love to get on the Super Bowl contenders. Besides Tampa, so Chicago, Arizona, Raiders, and Jacksonville and the New York Giants, me and Prince all have in common. I don't know. It's hard to say what my favorite would be. I honestly, when people ask me what my favorite place to play and live, it was Chicago. Even though it didn't go great for me personally, I loved the city there. I thought we had a great group of guys. I loved the quarterback room with Mark Sanchez and Mitch Trubisky. It was a good group. And I don't know, we had that kind of small locker room. And I still have memories of you guys playing Boo-Ray or whatever it was, and lots of money being thrown around, and me just watching from a few lockers down, just hearing the amount of money being thrown around. But that was definitely a good time.
Mike, so you mentioned you've been to a couple different teams. What do you think makes a good organization? Like when you roll in, is it, when you take a look at the other offseason opportunities, what takes you in a direction other than the contract, right? Like, what do you think makes that environment? What makes that atmosphere a place that you like playing?
I really feel like it starts from the top down, starting with ownership. I thought that was one of the cool things about Chicago and with New York is that the owners are present every day. They treat it like it's their job, it's their daily job. They treat it like a 9 to 5, just like, every other person in America does. So you see them on a daily basis, and both Chicago and New York have a lot of history, a lot of tradition, big market. And although I was only there for a couple of weeks so far until we get started here in training camp, they just felt very similar to me as well-run organizations. And I think they have the respect around the league as organizations that do it the right way.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's what I tell it. That's what I tell everybody is that, like, Chicago and New York, and you can even include Pittsburgh, like those are family-ran organizations, and it's different. Not to knock like the Jacksonville owner, like he got his money from putting bumper on tires, right? And then you have the Seahawks owner. I believe he passed away? Paul. Okay, sorry, but the Seahawks owner, he got his money from Microsoft, I believe, and so from tech, and so this is like, it's almost like a hobby in a sense versus like this is where all their money is in. So they have a little bit more emotion towards it, and you do see them every day, and it means something to them. Like we saw Mrs. McCaskey, the owner, we saw her almost like every day. Like she would be in on the meeting sometime. And my favorite part about her is like when she talked about like the rival between Green Bay and Chicago, it was like she gave like a pump up speech, and it was like, man, we have to win this for her and stuff like that. So I get what Mike is talking about a lot.
Yeah, you mentioned like, what a great side hustle to have, to be like the owner of a team. But I don't know, Mike, we talked about it just a little bit. Like, as you kind of take a look at what that transitionary period might be like, or what the next step for you might be like, are there side hustles that you're interested in? Are there things on the business side that you look at and say, hey, this side of the world interests me outside of football at this point in your career?
Yeah, I think so. And that's what me and Prince kind of, our relationship has evolved to, from talking about football to talking about things outside of football, and whether it be venture capital, real estate, entrepreneurship. I don't know. I'm really trying to figure that out. definitely have interest in venture capital, have interest in real estate, have interest in entrepreneurship. I just don't know what avenue I want to go down yet, but hopefully I have some time to figure that out and, meet some people along the way, and hopefully something kind of jumps out, an opportunity and something that I find passionate about.
Don't be humble though. Talk about you have a startup that you're working on, Elevate.
Yeah. So I would say we're kind of taking a little break on it right now, but
Okay.
last year during quarantine, kind of came up with the idea. Cameo was blowing up a little bit. Everyone was trapped at home. And I thought of a platform that's basically Cameo, but for coaching. So we call it, it's named Emulate Sport. So you could have Prince, Amukamara, watch your film and coach you up. But more specifically, we really wanted to get into kind of technique driven. So it'd be quarterbacks. So high school quarterback sends me their throwing motion. I can provide feedback back. PJ, you send your swing to a PGA golfer, tennis, and then ideally we'd love to grow into basically a place where amateurs in any walk of life can get personalized feedback from professionals, business, whatever it could be. But it is a lot of work, is what I found out, is how much work goes into these startups. And with football right now, it's hard to do. We need someone that's going to be on it 24/7, and we just don't have that yet. The other thing we found difficult was finding someone, a tech person. So I worked on it with a teammate of mine from the Arizona Cardinals, Chad Knopf. He was a quarterback at Princeton, very smart guy. He was so the quarterback room was Sam Bradford, myself, Josh Rosen, and him. And I remember Sam Bradford saying, if I ever or start a company, I'm going to hire Chad to be my CEO. I kept that in the back of my mind, and Chad was the first person I reached out to. And so we kind of worked on it, but since then he's kind of gotten a job. So we're going to reevaluate in a year, see where it goes.
I mean, I love that idea though. I mean, we're doing a conference call now, right? All your team meetings have been Zooms for the last year and a half, or at least until recently. And I think the idea of having that dynamic coaching, that's awesome. That the kids are looking for that all day, right? I mean, they take a look at their high school coach, but and I'm sure they're great, but it only gets them so far. So the opportunity to interact.
And I think that's what kind of got my interest was Cameo, like wishing someone happy birthday. I could do it, but it doesn't really bring like a gratification of where this, I would feel like I'm actually helping someone, and they would actually, be paying for something that makes them better at whatever it is. And I think it would be cool to say, hey, that's my coach. I watch him on TV, or you can play with him in Madden, whatever it might be. So it does add that kind of celebrity element, but you're also actually bettering yourself. So that's where the idea kind of stemmed from.
That's awesome. I mean, honestly, it's kind of the goal of this show is like, we want someone to hear that and to be able to reach out or, connect you with an investor or a coach or a developer or something, right? Like that's kind of cool. So that's,
right. So if there's any tech people out there, anyone interested in doing this, Emulate Sport, you can reach out to me on, I guess, Instagram. I don't really use Twitter. You can find me on Instagram.
Mike, I want to go back to football. So when I left New York in 2015, I went to Jacksonville. When I left New York, my thing was, man, I do not want them to win a Super Bowl with me leaving there. And then you're going to see where I'm going with this. And then when I went, and they almost went deep in the playoffs. They had a great season under Ben McAdoo. Like I think they were either 12 or 13 wins in the regular season. And then they lose to the Packers or whatever. And then when I play in Jacksonville 2016. We don't have a great record. I leave. They're in the conference finals against the Patriots. And that team, if they could have beat the Patriots too, if they would have went all the way, they would have won it. And so I was like, man, I hope they don't win they don't win the Super Bowl a year after me leaving. And then I get to Chicago. I played there 3 years, and we were great when we were there. And then same thing, they lose to the Saints in the playoffs. So I go there to say, Tampa, you spent a good chunk of your career there, and they finally win it. were you rooting for them, or like how was it? Was it mixed feelings? How was it?
I was, because
Okay.
I'm further removed. I get what you're saying. There's the human nature side of sometimes where I guess it's FOMO. You feel like you're missing out on, but I have been removed from it, 4 years. So I wouldn't say I really had that anymore. And it was kind of cool to see guys like Levante David, Mike Evans, Cam Brake, guys I had been there with, and we weren't very good when I was there. So it was cool to kind of see them, these great players that work really hard at it, finally get rewarded. And I think, Tom Brady coming there was a nice present that helped get them that ring. But nonetheless, I was happy for him. I'm not going to lie. I was a little jealous of the boat party. Because one of my good buddies is Ryan Griffin, who was the guy that was like carrying Tom Brady off of the boat. And I was definitely jealous that I wasn't part of that.
Hold on, because you wanted to carry Tom?
I wanted to be part of that. That was like a great time. I mean, out on the boat in Tampa. I mean,
Lombardi off the back of the boat.
Like, I think everyone always dreams of the parade of, whatever city they're in. Kind of, you see it every year. And then the boat just added a whole other element. I mean, it seemed like the best celebration there has ever been. I mean, it just looked like a big down there. I don't know if you know what Gasparilla is. It's a big party in Tampa, but it was basically Gasparilla mixed with a Super Bowl. It was awesome to see.
Dude, Tom just looks like he's still having fun, man. He's been doing it for so long. He's had so much success, and it's just like I don't know. It's strange to see someone who's that successful like continue to have that drive to continue to be better every year. It's sort of remarkable to watch.
It really is. I mean, he's it's just so impressive to see what he's done, and I think just to add to his legacy, to get away from the Patriots and in 1 year turn that program from, I think they were 8-8 the year before, to win the Super Bowl. And talking to guys there, they said that the moment they signed Tom, they felt like their standard got taken to a whole new level, and that they felt like they had to put in more work. And they just, he just brings that element that the guys don't want to let him down because, I mean, understandably so.
All right. I mean,
dude, I want to jump on that. Like, I tell everybody, Tom Brady has the LeBron factor. Like, he goes on any team, instant contender, and his leadership. Like, I think Leonard Fournette or somebody said that Tom was texting at like 11 p.m. the night before the game or all throughout the week, like, "Hey, we will win this game. We will win this game." And just imagine if you're Devin White, Levante David, who whatever player that needs to make a play, you're sitting on the bench. Tom comes to you, "Hey, I need a play out of you. Let's go." It's like something just gets in you, and you just want to ball, and like it's evident that he makes people around him better. Now, piggybacking on what Mike said, him leaving the Patriots, I tell everybody that do not sleep on the Patriots this year, because Bill Belichick, he knows what people are saying. Oh, like, Tom doesn't need him. And because there was always the question, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, who's making who better, Tom or Bill? Like, who's the secret sauce? And I think Bill's going to come strong this year. He's going to show a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the Tom Brady thing, and he's earned it, but it's easy for him to be a leader because, if I'm texting you, "Hey, Prince, we're going to win," you're going to be like, "Okay, let's see." But if Tom Brady's texting you, "We're going to win," you're going to be like, "Damn, we're going to win." And he's earned that right. But when you're the greatest player of all time, it's pretty easy to be a leader. I mean, whatever you say, people are going to listen to.
100%, and that's why I said it's like the LeBron factor. Like, any team he goes to, they're instant contenders. And Chris Paul is looking like he has that too. I mean, I'm in Phoenix. I'm an Arizona native. Go Suns! Suns in 5 now, not 4. Suns in 5. And I mean, CP3. I mean, he's 36. He comes on a Suns team. Nobody comes with him. I mean, CP3 has the same thing. I think that just shows how big leadership and veteran leadership is.
No, it definitely is. But just back to kind of what I said is it's when you're a good player and you're a good leader, it makes it that much easier because the guys are going to respect. It all comes down to execution on the field. You can be a great motivator in the locker room, but you got to do it on game day. So, it's easy to follow Tom Brady's lead.
Like you've been doing it for a long time too. I believe Gatorade Player of the Year.
Yeah.
2007, right?
Yeah, 2007.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we talk about, like, I made a joke, Prince. I was like, I've known you for like 12 or 13 years, and like when I said that, like my back hurts. Like, what as you get later in your career, like what wakes you up every morning, right? What motivates you every day? Obviously, you still got this passion for football, but what gets you up and gets you going?
I think still the desire to be the best football player I can be, and play as long as I can, and I want to be part of a winning team. I still haven't been to the playoffs. But just to be in the NFL, be part of it, it's a privilege and something that I don't take lightly. Last year it took me a little while to get picked up, and you start having those kind of questions in your head of, how much longer is it going to be? So I thought it was kind of a good wake-up call for me to just go out there and enjoy every moment of it and play relaxed and just let loose because, eventually this is going to come to an end. So just make the most of every opportunity. And, so I think that's definitely it. But then at the same time, I want to start looking forward to what's next and take advantage of being in the NFL. They talk about the power of the shield, the NFL logo, the shield. And because I know once you become a former player, it's not quite the same when you meet people and all that, current player versus former player. Yeah, they're both cool, but definitely the current player has a little bit more pull. So hopefully I can play as long as I can, but along the way, really prepare for life after football.
Do you think that it takes maybe current players a little too long to think about life after football? You mentioned taking a little time getting picked up, and that's when you kind of wanted to maybe make that transition or thought about your career a little differently?
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it. I've heard some people say, like, be where your feet are. I don't want to have one foot in football, one foot out. But we have so much time off in the off season. I mean, we're working really 5 months of the year. We're all in on it. The other 7 months, you work out in the morning. I throw a couple times a week, but other than that, I have time to do other things. So, like I said, I would rather network and meet people while I'm in the league than wait until afterwards, because I think you'll be a little behind the 8 ball. But some guys have different preferences, and I understand if you just want to be solely focused on the NFL, that does make a lot of sense. But I think there is time to kind of do both.
And this is for both. This is for Prince, you too. We haven't really touched on this. Huge news coming with collegiate athletics and allowing kids in college to be able to generate revenue for themselves and really start making a business out of who they are much earlier in their career. Do you think that changes the mentality of athletes that are trying to build a business or a brand around themselves? Does it switch the mentality for them maybe making a business earlier in their career? And just sort of, what do you think about this transition in general?
I'll touch it. I mean, I think it's huge. Like, I mean, you hear a lot of stories where collegiate athletes, like they're living on ramen noodles, and like people's situations different athletes have different situations. And so when you hear stuff like that, or it's unfortunate, but some people that are collegiate athletes are taking care of family back home and stuff like that. So when you see like the NCAA making so much money off of players, and people say like, oh, they're getting a free education, that they earned that. Like that's still not enough for what they're going through. I mean, there's like if a person like ends their career in college, like what do they have after that? So it's definitely worth it. I'm an investor in a company called Open Doors with my boy Blake Lawrence and Adi Kunalik. And if you search on Twitter, which Mike, you're not on, but Iggy, if you search on Twitter or even on Instagram, I mean, they are crushing it. Like basically Open Doors get collegiate athletes endorsements and get them paid by tweeting or by posting on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, or on TikTok, and they've been one of the leaders in getting collegiate athletes paid. So I'm super happy for collegiate athletes. And then also, and this is a bold take, and you guys can edit this if you want, but this is a very, very bold take. Like me and some friends were talking, and I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know the exact rules, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see collegiate athletes get on OnlyFans, male or female. Simply, and I'm not talking about OnlyFans. Look at Mike's face. I'm not talking about OnlyFans.
I don't think that's where you're going with this.
Listen. I'm not saying they're gonna be tripping on OnlyFans, like doing crazy stuff. First of all, OnlyFans is not just for like that stuff. Like OnlyFans, like some people just have that so people can just get exclusive content from the person you're following. So I know in Nebraska, like there's a huge following for players, and for sports, like the fans are super committed. And so like the volleyball team, like even if like a girl's just posting, I mean, I don't even know, like her toes or something, like there's gonna be fans, there's gonna be something, they're gonna sign up to see it. And I'm telling you now, I just want to be the one to say it first. Watch it. You're going to see collegiate fans. They obviously cannot do anything crazy, because I'm sure there's something like that they sign. Like if they do anything crazy like that, like they'll be kicked off the team. But I'm just saying, just watch it. I'm not signing up for nobody's OnlyFans, and I'm not.
First, want to see the volleyball players' toes.
Hey, Chris, what are you looking at over there, man?
Huh? What do you mean?
What are you looking at over there?
I'm nothing. What are you talking? I'm watching my kids. Is what I'm watching. I'm watching my kids.
I think the point is.
I have a question for you. For what's it called? Open Door.
Open Doors.
So, how did they feel when they are now allowing NFL agents to represent the college kids for marketing? Is that going to take away from what they're doing?
No, not at all. I mean, it still behooves the agent to get their athlete on the platform. And they work with agents, they work with players directly. And I didn't even know that you're saying that collegiate athletes have like marketing agents?
So NFL agents, so like who are you with? CAA?
No, Athletes First now. But yeah.
Oh, you are. That's what I'm with.
Yeah, they switched. Yeah.
Athletes First can represent college athletes now for marketing purposes only. But they're being told you're not allowed to use this as a recruiting tool for when they turn pro. But of course,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I think it helps them.
Helps them.
I mean, there are so many more college athletes than there are professional athletes. So I think if I'm the top 1% of the college athlete, of course I'm going to be represented. I think if you're a group like Open Doors, you still want the other 99% of athletes, right? There's such a massive audience there. And I don't know what Athletes First looks like or CAA, but I can only imagine they're going after the whales in college like they are in the NFL, NBA, and MLB.
Yeah. 100%. I just wonder how much money, like, yes, the Zions, the Trevor Lawrences, the Johnny Manziels, the Tim Tebows, they would have made a ton of money. But what is the average, college athlete actually going to make? And
it doesn't matter.
Like a third string line.
Like Nebraska, where all they do is live and breathe Cornhusker football. But
it doesn't matter. Like, you have to think about, even if it's an extra $200, $300 a month, like.
No, I think it's a great thing.
And then also they can, like, think about if you're a kicker at NC State, you can set a kicking camp and make money from like having like a kicking camp and stuff.
I just think it's going to be guys mostly having to hustle their way through it. Like, they're going to have to do actual work, do camps, do YouTube videos, do appearances. Like, it's not just going to be all these companies or local businesses coming to them to promote their business. I don't think there'll be a lot of that. I think guys will have to hustle on Cameo, things like that to get their money.
I think Fritz has got a really good point. I mean, maybe not just OnlyFans, but the fact is if they have an audience, they can monetize the audience.
Yeah, and Twitch, I guess Twitch,
whatever, right? I mean, they could be
even merch. Think about merch. Like you
merchandise.
can come up with, rather than going to the bookstore, like the Nebraska bookstore, to get a shirt or a jersey, you can have your own merch, and companies will come to you. Hey, we'll design your merch, whatever. Like we'll get a piece. Like there's so many ways to monetize. And I wonder if like getting a car deal is on the table. Is all that on the table?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the other interesting thing. How is it going to affect recruiting and all that? Because maybe this is the only way that Nebraska becomes relevant again. Because
relax. It's all good. Don't worry.
But Mike, you mentioned having both feet kind of in the ground where you are, right? In college, you don't have as much time, I think, as you do now as pros. Like you have, months off where you get to actually rebalance your life. In college, you just keep practicing and playing and practicing and going to class. I wonder if if coaches dislike it because of the distraction. Because some of these kids are gonna have to live stream and they're gonna have to post and they're gonna have to be celebrities almost, right?
They definitely are gonna dislike it, but I don't think you can blame them because they're not getting paid anywhere near the amount of money we are, and you just don't know what your future pro career might be. Like someone like Johnny Manziel would have made way more money in college than he ever did in the NFL. So it would be hard to put blame on guys that don't have very much money in their bank account, if any at all, to be doing all this stuff. Where us as NFL players, our focus should be on our job because you can make way more money in that. But I understand what you're saying. It's kind of there's a fine line, but I mean, if college athletes are hustling their way to do it, it's hard to put blame on them.
I mean, I wonder if you start seeing little juju's everywhere, like TikTok dancing on the 50-yard line.
I'm sure there'll be guys doing some extra stuff that coaches are gonna hate.
All right, Prince, are you TikTok dancing if you're in Nebraska right now?
100%. I would take full advantage, man. I would take full advantage. I mean, I've always been me on social media. I only show maybe 10% or 20% of how I am. I really wish that I can be unfiltered, raw, but because we still work for corporate America, we work for a Fortune 500 company. I feel like there's a way that I want to present myself. So I wouldn't go too crazy. I wouldn't go too crazy until I'm fully away from the shield or fully away from somebody who's controlling how much I get paid and stuff. I still have to appease to that.
That's another thing though, Prince, you say that, and I agree with what you're saying, because I feel like I'm so reserved in what I say to the media that once I'm done playing, I'll actually be able to speak my mind. That's why broadcasting so interests me, because I actually think I have decent opinions, but I'm always afraid to share them. But will these guys be afraid to become Juju Smith because it might affect their draft value? Teams, might not want to deal with a prima donna. I'm not saying that's what he is. That's a great player.
That's what's perceived. That's the perception.
Right. So, I think guys will have to be careful to not do too much because it could hurt their draft value.
100%. Mike, what are your thoughts on crypto? Are you in?
I'm in on Doge. Just because
as a matter of fact, let me check right now where mine is.
It's at 21.
Gosh, man.
But it was doing really good for a while, and I was really happy, and now it's kind of taking a hit. But I've started dabbling in it. It's definitely interesting to me. But I didn't get in. This is all in the past 6 months. This is the first time I got in the crypto world. But there does seem to be a lot of merit to it. But it also took a big hit in the past month or so. So I guess that's the world. I haven't been in it long enough to know, but it seems like it's a roller coaster ride.
Super volatile world, man. It's great. Yeah.
But are you in it, Prince?
I'm in Doge too. I'm in Doge also, man. I mean, we're all waiting for it to get to $1 or whatever, man. I think Elon's messing with it, but we'll see, man. I mean, not messing with it. I know he has. Like, remember that Saturday Night Live thing?
Yeah, that's when it all went down after that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, because did you see what he said? This dude, it's like he made a whole parody. Like the guy kept asking, it was a skit. He kept saying, like, Elon, come on, what's Doge? And then he gave the definition. They said, come on, what's Doge? He gave the definition. And then he said, seriously, what's Doge? He said, it's a hustle. And then as soon as he said that, I just seen it go like this. I'm like, Elon, what are you? And then his mom went on there and said, I hope you're not giving me Doge for my birthday present. Just like, it's like, oh, what are you doing? It was like at 70 something then.
I know. It got to like 76, I want to say. 72 or 76.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the key, when I've learned a little bit about Doge, it seems like anytime there's a big anticipation day, like 420 was supposed to be the big day, and then this SNL was supposed to be the big day, it always goes up, and then when it gets to that day, it goes way down. I feel like you got to sell. Everyone's anticipating because everyone's like, okay, this SNL is going to push it over the top. And then it has that opposite effect.
Yeah, there's a common phrase, you buy the rumors. Like, you buy the rumors and sell the news. Like, when it actually happens, when it starts.
Yeah.
All right, so investing, you got some crypto. What else are you into right now, Mike?
Like I said, I'm doing a little bit of venture. I'm in some real estate deals, but that's really it. I mean, honestly, like some guys say the NFL player, and maybe I'm in the rare. Some people say that players are getting offered these deals all the time. I haven't been proposed that much. I don't know if Prince feels the same way.
But, you got to get deal flow. You got to find out. You got to find people. Network. Stop being reserved, dude. I always
help me out.
No, if you're serious, I will. No, I always get. I guess I'm different in a sense where I want to. I don't like, I'm not at the point where I want to ask anyone for money, or I'm not at the point where I want to give anybody else my money. Like, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to win or lose, it's going to be on me. It's like track or whatever. Like, it's a single man race. If I fall start, it's on me. If I lose, it's on me. So, I mean, I feel like Airbnb right now in Arizona, and I think all around the world, like the CEO came out and said, we're going to need more hosts because the whole nation is opening up and people are traveling like crazy. And so Airbnb has been super, super awesome. And I feel like that's my niche right now.
As you told me that, are you in on some in Jacksonville? Or
yes,
no, Arizona?
Yeah. Did you stay in my spot in Jacksonville? I'm in both.
No, you sent me your Arizona place.
It's so funny. Listen, there's a lot of guys in Jacksonville who have been staying at my spot. I'm not going to say names, but they've been staying at my spot, and they've been keeping it good. But like the agent said, hey, one of these guys asked, hey, is that Prince the player or whatever? And he was like, nah, like it's not who you think it is or whatever. So I've been trying to stay incognito down there.
Well, where's the place?
It's right by the shopping center. So it's like on a gate. It's like on I forgot what it's called. It's like condos. It's right by the shopping center. You know where
the town center
stuff is. The town center, yeah, the Top Golf and all that. Yeah. It's right by there.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why I mean, I get the whole betting on yourself aspect, but is there a reason why you're staying away from investing or seeing or either investing in other businesses or receiving deal flow? Like why just you?
I mean, well, and what I was meaning to say with Mike is that there's a lot of players who talk about like passive income, cash flow, any type of deals. They talk about that constantly, like in Slack channels, now on WhatsApp. Like Derek Morgan, who came on here, he's a guy. Justin Forsett has a company called Hustle Clean, and I've invested in his company, and they have like shower wipes, they have deodorant, they have lotion, they have a whole bunch of products. So I'll still do stuff like that, but I think because I've been screwed, not by guys, but I just been screwed. I was an angel investor. I invested like 100K in a company called Brandless, and I don't want to say screwed. I don't like screwed is a bad word because it makes it seem intentional. It wasn't intentional, but like I didn't get a return on my money. But then when you go into stuff like that, when you go into venture, like Mike, like it's like you're trying, and too, Iggy, it's like you're trying to invest into 20 or whatever different companies. You're trying to find one home run, 130x, 120x, and so so that was a bad part. That was a bad part, and that was a bad investment on my end. But I like just me being the only guy, me being the main person because I get to control it. Real estate is what I know, and like I said, Airbnb. I feel like that's my niche, and I don't want to take on other people's money because I don't want to have that pressure. Like I don't want my boy hitting me up, hey Prince, like you told me, like right. I might get an 8 to 10% return. What's up? Well, and then now now there's like relationships there, but I feel like players, like we have so much capital. If we can do something together, even I mean, a sports team is kind of far beyond. But you even see guys like do that and put their capital together and own a sports team and stuff like that. But
MLS right now, MLS is blowing up. Teams are
My boy,
I think one reason, just not speaking for Prince, the one thing that I'm a little reserved on is obviously in the NFL we're making a bunch of money, and then when that time comes that we stop, it's going to take a big dip. So I don't want to over spend on my investments and then have no cash to play with, when I'm done playing. So I just want to be smart with it and not overdo my portfolio and things that, if I don't play much longer.
What's that look like for you, Mike, on the football side? How you feeling? How's the body feel? How's your head feel about
Feels good.
He's a quarterback, man. Come on.
Answer the question, Prince.
I do seem like my body is getting a little just little things come up here and there, but one of the benefits of being a backup quarterback for most of my career is I don't have quite the wear and tear that a lot of guys have. So that is definitely one of the perks of not being the guy. But yeah, hopefully, I can ride out a few more years. We'll see, though.
At this point in your career, and you've been on a bunch of different teams, you mentioned kind of some of the benefits of being, not necessarily having to be the guy, right, on your body, on your career. Are you happy in your career right now? You've had some starting opportunities, you've had some success, or are you happy, you fulfilled right now? In this part of your career?
I think I'm enjoying it, and obviously you want to be the guy, but at the same time, it's a pretty good gig being the backup, and I do enjoy it. I love football. I love the preparation side of it, the X's and O's side of it, talking to guys like Prince about, what corners are thinking, maybe inside stem a little and then take it on the go route, and Prince is waiting for that in cut or that out cut. But yeah, there's still a lot that I love about going to work every day.
Dude, he's saying that because they would torch. It'd be me and Kyle like that same, but me and Kyle caught on, but they would torch us on that because he says usually a quarterback, it's inside. Usually a cornerback, you're thinking inside release, inside route, outside release, outside route. So what they would do is they would go inside, and then we're sitting to think of inside route, and they'll just take it deep, and it's not pretty.
All right, Prince, you want to ask the Win Daily question? It's my favorite one.
To be honest, I forgot.
All right, Mike, I'll ask.
I remember. I remember. So, you got it. All
right, so the name of the platform is called Win Daily, and again, it's about just trying to find opportunities for revenue and doing the things you love, which is either betting on sports or talking about sports or listening to athletes and how they view money and investing. And one of the questions we like to leave on is, what does Win Daily mean to you, and how do you do that?
So from a football standpoint, I think just that saying is like trying to find a way to get better every day at playing quarterback, whether it's working out, throwing, watching film, studying your playbook, just finding one little thing that you can do to make yourself a better player. And then I guess from a personal standpoint, being a husband and father, you're constantly, that's newer to me. It's not as, football, I can just find something to do. I feel like as a parent and as a husband, you got to feel it out just because it's, a little bit different, but just finding different ways to be a good husband, be a good father, have that impact on your kid's life in a positive way. So yeah, I think that would be those three, between my professional life and my personal life, try to just do something every day to get better.
That's awesome. Prince, any parting words, my friend?
I love that. No, that's a great answer. I feel like that's been the consensus among all answers is guys have been hitting on all aspects of life. Like winning is not just on the field, it's off the field. But I was just thinking about it, just looking at Mike right now. Mike, would you say, this is my last question, would you say you're the tallest person in the NFL?
I'm pretty sure I'm the tallest quarterback. I don't know. There's got to be something. I'm 6'7". You got to be some lineman or like a tackle. I don't know. I'm up there though.
I think
Prince, you think I can still dunk?
Yes.
I don't know.
You don't think? Stop it. Are you serious?
I think I can, but it'd probably just be like a one hand, like.
I seen Eli dunked when I was there. I mean, I think Eli was probably like 34, 30. Eli dunked when I was with the Giants. Like Eli's very athletic.
Well, my vert is not pretty.
I appreciate you getting on.
Hey, we'll get a rim on the next show. We'll have a live take.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Prince. Like I said, always a pleasure talking to you. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you.